Cobra.
Yeah, I wanted to make the joke about the Cobra song from G.I. Joe, but I feel like even that would be giving this show too much credit. This show feels like...
What, like a 15-year-old would think was cool?
It's... As far as I can tell, it is a bunch of... It's like, what if Toriyama made a space show, but was even more creatively bankrupt? Because to be fair to Toriyama, he's actually a really good artist, and I like his character designs. I think they're good. Yes, he uses them all the fucking time. Although I have seen like his stuff from his more recent stuff, and I think it's interesting to see his art style change. But like, I feel like this show doesn't have a creative bone in its body.
No,
and I feel like the only reason I don't recognize some of it is because it's from the fucking 80s, so, like, I don't know what some of the references are. But once they start getting a bit more contemporary and I start seeing Dragon Ball shit, I'm like, oh, cool.
But that's not what you're supposed to be watching for. You're supposed to be watching for the ass, which is present in every episode.
Multiple times an episode, to the point where I just started thanking the fucking show because it just get right up in there. And sometimes just bare ass titties because, you know, why not? That was a lot rarer, to be fair. And one of them was a clock, but anyway.
Yeah, I forgot she was a clock.
Yeah, that was fucking stupid. Yeah, so...
I forgot how this all starts. I know it's like 3 episodes.
He's singing Christmas carols because it's Christmas Eve, and he gets in a car crash, and a bunch of people get shot, and there's a stupid fucking...
There's a key that this lady named Secret gives him.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, we need to take this to Gallo
and Gallon or whatever, and there's a pterodactyl... And like a flying bird.
It's a vehicle.
It's a vehicle that flies like a pterodactyl. It's the worst.
And it's got a half-naked lady inside.
And there's a bull man robot gold thing that has rocket fists, and he gets kicked out a window, and
so they go to this planet to use the key to open up the golden door or whatever.
And everything goes fucking wrong. There's a talking stingray face thing. And it's like Secret's actually like an engineered golden ratio bullshit woman who unlocks the door by putting her body in it.
You see, the key was a fake. It was designed to throw them off. Because this big old, like, indentation of a lady T-posing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
That's the real key.
Yeah, and it took them through like space and time, and they ended up in the engine, and
there's a gravity gun.
The gravity turned on, and
Cobra fell through a floor, got amnesia, and then got into a boxing match.
Yeah, and then he beat up the guy, and then the Undertaker showed up. And...
So Cobra gets poisoned, and like he's getting beat up, and he's just like, "That's right, I'm unkillable."
Because he sees the Cobra tattoo, and he's like, "Oh right, my name's Cobra. I'm the unkillable Cobra."
Yeah, because he's like something like, "I can't believe I'm gonna die in this way. Me, the man they said who was unkillable."
And that like triggers his memories.
And he scares Undertaker by looking at him.
Yeah, and then Undertaker gets thrown. He doesn't get put back in the casket, which he should have been.
He goes through a table.
Yeah, but it's not a. There's no such thing as a table match.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, right. You're right. You're fucking right.
Those existed before the casket matches.
I'm a moron. Anyway, yeah, so he wins the wrestling match, shoots a hole through the main bad guy, and then he goes to rescue He goes to rescue
Secret. Who's been under the gravity thing for like a day.
Over a day. And turns out a crazy religious lady got impaled through the head by the brain of the spaceship, which has a whole bunch of lore that I don't give a shit about.
I've noticed.
And so it turns out everything's an illusion, and she gets shot and she dies, and
then the world was saved because Cobra.
Because the fucking comet that was Galon was gonna collide with the sun, which would apparently destroy it.
Yeah, like I told you, 98% of Gallon was fucking explosives.
It must have been. Thank God we didn't find out. Anyway, I don't remember the arc that happens after this.
Oh, it's a single episode, I think, of... No, this isn't the fishing episode, or the one where... No, this is the one where they go, where Cobra's friend, who looks a lot like Cobra with a scar.
Oh, right. He gets sunk by, something.
That can shoot fucking, like, laser... Like, compressed air.
It's, condensed oxygen or some shit. And so he goes to a bar... because nobody wants to take him, and he pays some guy wearing a thong. And, never got an ass shot of him. I was impressed. And, so he accidentally opens the door too fast, and a lady falls through and breaks all her pots, and she starts acting like a Karen. And then he meets her he's trying to get the boat moving, and then she pulls up the anchor, and Thong Man's, hung on the anchor. Hanged on the anchor. My apologies. You've hung a picture. You hanged a man. And she decides to go along, and turns
like,
out...
what could go wrong? It's fine. Anyway, there's pirates.
Yeah, and one of them's like a C-3PO with a knife.
And the other's a mummy.
A fucking mummy. But he gets a knife through the face. And then C-3PO man drops... Like, they find out there's like a
there's a cold current of water going around this island that's carrying dead bodies.
Yeah, a bunch of dead bodies.
Who have been preserved for 2,000 years, because, fuck you, it's Cobra.
Yeah, no, and they're covered in gold, like, barely covered, mind you, because this is Cobra. Barely covered in gold and jewels. And, and so...
It turns out that the lady is actually the bad guy.
Who'd have thought that Karen was the evil one? She's got her gauntlets, and she tries shooting him, and he gets dragged down to the bottom of the sea, but then it turns out he's fine. He broke C-3PO's other arm, and he shoots her, and she floats along with the rest of them, and that's the end of the fucking episode. And,
I can tell you have a lot of, praise for this show. Anyway, here's mountain bullshit art.
Okay, so there's an airplane that carried passengers and 20 tons of gold.
And a dead rat.
Yeah, the dead rat had an explosive with a watch on it, and it blows up, and somehow that sends the whole plane crashing into this mountain that's actually a mirage, and it only appears if you believe in it.
Okay, I was going to say, this mountain is real, but only if you believe.
And somehow the airplane crashed into it, so I guess they all believed in the mountain.
No, it's just the pilot.
No, it's the airplane. The airplane believed in the mountain. And so there's a group of people, including two monkey rat people, a lady wearing the dumbest thing, Frankenstein's monster,
Leo the cat man,
big old cat man who will reappear partially for a different episode,
a priest, and then an incredibly stereotyped Native American.
Oh God, fucking Geronimo. That killed me. So they all start climbing the mountain, and they're like, we're here for the gold, and then ice sharks appear, and they're using jetpacks, and the jetpacks start running out of energy, but they all shoot and punch the sharks, but big Frankenstein's monster doesn't believe in the mountain, so he can't see the mountain, so he falls into the sharks, and luckily he gets shot by Catman before he can get eaten.
And then we're told by Geronimo, you have to believe in the mountain at all times, otherwise you just fall through.
Yeah, that comes into play because one of the mouse monkey people is like, I'm so exhausted, is this mountain even real? And then he falls.
Bye.
Yeah, and then
while they're camping, the other rat monkey gets somebody breaks in and breaks her tent thing, so she freezes to death.
And there's a hint left behind because there's a match book, and it's clearly a left-handed person, and there's 3 left-handed people there. And
one of them's Cobra.
Crazy. And so he gets accused of murder, and he kills one of the other guys who had weird Mickey Mouse hair. and missing an eye, because I guess he lost his eye to Cobra.
Something like that.
Anyway, Lady climbs by herself and stops believing in the mountain because a hand talks to her.
Also, the priest hangs himself before this.
Yeah, well, whatever.
But, I mean, you gotta go
it
in
is
order.
actually pointless.
It is pointless, but like they're casting suspicion on Cobra, the guy who
Cobra and the Catman. But yeah, Lady gets talked to by a hand, convinces her that nothing's real, and she falls through the mountain, and nobody decides to help her.
I mean, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean,
Catman. So the arm comes back and cuts the rope. Catman falls and breaks his arm.
Well, because the hand convinces him that the gold's not there.
Well, not yet.
Oh, yeah,
He breaks the thing, then he falls, and the Cobra's like, yo, give me your arm, and he's doing it. And
well, because the worst part is that he's like, I broke my left hand, and yet he still pulls himself up by his broken left hand, or whatever.
Well, cats are built differently.
Yeah, well...
But, like, he's convinced that the gold isn't real, so he dies.
Yeah, and so they keep climbing the mountain, and turns out the priest was a robot.
And he blew up the plane, so that's why he knew the mountain was there.
That's why he's been convinced. And
Geronimo knew the mountain was there because, he was kind of a stereotype, and this was kind of like his backstory or whatever.
Yeah, we'll get to why he climbed the mountain, I guess. And so Cobra blows his head off, the robot priest with the demon hand. Anyway, turns out his partner, we just call Lady.
That's her name.
Anyway.
Her name's like Armoroid Lady.
Turns out she was on the plane.
For reasons.
Yeah, and
that's why Cobra believed that the mountain existed.
And Geronimo was searching for his dad, who was clearly on the mountain when the plane crashed. That's why he never came back. And
he got encased in ice.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. And then they leave the mountain and nobody takes any of the gold. Cool.
Yeah, it's just kind of like whatever.
Well, the gold probably didn't really matter. But anyway, what's after this?
I think this is the race car episode that you lost your shit in.
Oh my god. Alright, so there's this fucking stupid ass race
Move
thing.
over, F-Zero.
Yeah. You have to build your car in midair, and if you fuck it up, you die. And
Cobra enters.
Cobra enters and he beats some racing prodigy.
Okay, so the best thing is we both had the same thought when we saw her. We're like, is this the same lady as before?
They're all the fucking same.
They're carbon copies of each other.
Wait. Did we skip the Mandrake ripoff?
I think that's the next episode.
I thought it was before. I don't know. Whatever.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
We'll get to it.
There's no continuity. But yeah, and then he crashes his thing and it blows up and they all think he's dead.
And then he steals like $4 million.
3.5 according to him. And and before this we see a weird bike thing that crashes through cars and we're like, okay. And
so
then
they meet up at Cobra and Lady meet up at a party.
Yeah.
And Lady starts freaking out. She runs to the bathroom.
Because she's like, you have to stop Black Bullet. And then she starts panicking. And then she runs to the bathroom. And there's this weird, stupid face. And then...
and then Cobra just kind of walks in and the window's smashed out. And he's like, oh no!
And I start having really fun thoughts about her turning into the bike. Little did I know it was...
Anyway,
par for the course, it was stupider than that.
So Cobra gets arrested because he shot a patrol car.
Well, yeah, because he pulled out the psycho gun. By the way, it's called the psycho gun.
Yeah, his Mega Buster.
I hate it.
Anyway, so like the police are like, "Look, you're an idiot. You should not have showed me that." Anyway, you're arrested. By the way, have you heard about this bike called the Black Bullet? It's destroyed. It's killed like 100 people or 200 people or a lot of people.
Yeah, and then he has the moment where he's like, oh, that's what she was talking about. I wonder what that has to do with anything. and then he breaks out of his handcuffs because of course he does.
Because he's Cobra.
And runs into a warehouse, which is just conveniently where the Black Bullet is. Well, I mean, I guess she was going to go try and corner it or something because they knew where it was. And
also, there's an old man having his dinner on the floor,
which is booze. And but as it turns out, he's not a crazy hobo. He's actually a crazy scientist who built the Black Bullet for what's-her-face to use.
To break the land speed record, I guess.
Which is cool.
Don't know why he made it look evil.
Don't know why he gave it a giant ramming spike.
Yeah, and, like, anti-laser protection, and...
That was probably so it could survive the speeds it was supposed to go at, but at the same time, it was fucking stupid. He basically created a death machine. And, yeah, so...
And then he gives us her backstory.
Oh, dear God. So he created the Black Bullet, and he's like... And Paula was a prodigy racer, and then she had a sister, and I'm like, oh God, her sister died, and she died in a car accident, and so she developed a weird psychosis about and a split personality that hates cars.
All of them.
She is out to murder cars.
Everything.
Cars. She hates cars. Cars need to die.
I mean, Cars was a bad movie. Anyway.
You do not know stupidity until you've realized, until you've been sitting there and waiting for the other shoe to drop of like, oh God, they're going there. She's taking revenge on cars for the death of her sister.
Anyway, Cobra rigs up a hologram of her sister. So she opens up the hatch, and then Cobra's just like, haha, headshot.
Yeah. And leaves her a rose while it's all on fire because he's an asshole.
Because he's a cool guy.
I hate him.
Okay, so Cobra goes to space. It's like a space bar. And the lady from the Gallon episodes is there. She's running a bar, I guess?
She's just a...
Like a barker? Something like that?
Kind
Hostess?
of, something like that. She brings people in, I guess. And
there's a lady who's been waiting for Cobra for like a week. She will not go home.
Just sitting at the table for a week. Doesn't give a shit. And
she's like, God. Cobra, I'm gonna hire you for a job. And he's like, I don't think so. And she's like, well, look into my left eye.
And there is secret trapped in her eye. Just when I thought the show couldn't get any fucking dumber, it goes there. And she's like, I'm hiring you for this job. You gotta get her out. And
meet your 3 gremlin friends. The nose, the eyes, and the ears.
Yeah, and
go inside the great Deku tree. Find me some seeds.
Yep, and the first thing they run into is, I swear to God, I looked at them, and they start coming out of the water. I'm like, rocket piranhas! And it turns out they're jet piranhas. I wasn't that far off. They literally have jets on them. I think they're water jets, though. They're not quite as stupid as I was hoping. And they fly around and they eat people. And as it turns out, Cobra can do everything they can do but better. And he hears them and he shoots them all. And the nose panics, runs off, steps on a mushroom, and it explodes. So then they have to go landmine hunting with a knife.
Yeah.
They have to go sapping, essentially. And they get through, and
Cobra sees a bug and he gets scared.
And
then the eyes is like, haha, you saw a bug and you were scared. And then he walks into like a Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, like it's a bug thing, and it eats him, and it's horrifying. It is horrifying to think about, but it's not really horrifying to watch. It actually looks really dumb, as is par for the course. And so they get to the core where there's seeds, and Cobra, of course, figures out that something's kind of fishy about the seeds, and
Ears does not. He goes over to the...
He basically forks Cobra in the arms, and he's like, "You can't use your gun now." And he's like, "Okay." And he goes over to where all the seeds are, and one of them shoots out.
And then a little baby seed comes out with his face.
Yep, and it has diamonds in its teeth, and it's fucking sick.
So Cobra uses his towel, he picks up a seed that was on the ground, and he walks back out. We don't get to see him walk out. I don't know how he did it.
He just got back out because he knew what he was doing.
Because he's Cobra.
And he gets out, and lo and behold, he's been betrayed by the lady.
Yeah, and she's like, "Look, your friend's not coming out of my eye until I'm dead."
Oh, wow. I wonder what will happen.
Now, hand me that seed. So Cobra hands her the seed, and she unwraps it from the towel, and then it just shoots her.
Well, she touches it, and then it shoots her in the chest, and her face comes out of it, and then she washes up on shore with a bunch of other explorers. And as it turns out, it's a whole vicious cycle that this plant makes diamonds because it has to reproduce with humans, because that's how evolution works, because this show is fucking bullshit. It really feels like a deeply discounted Cowboy Bebop, but like bad.
Well, this might predate Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, it easily predates Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop was from the 90s.
Well, anyway, on to our final arc.
Go to the castle, defeat the...
So there's 13 people, all based off cards, and
and they all
9 of them die immediately because they were unimportant.
Yeah, so there's beast machines. Yes, that's right. The Transformers have entered.
Beast mechas.
No, they called them beast machines.
Were they machines? I thought it was mechas.
They do eventually start calling them beast mechas, but the first thing they say is beast machines, and that's why I commented about Transformers.
Oh. Anyway, they're part of the Chaos Army.
Yeah, they're invaders from space.
Yeah, and they're a hive mind.
And then and they're like, we have to go save the king. And then we cut to a literal fairy who can astral project and talks to the king in his cell because he's having nightmares because he forgot everything, because he also got amnesia. And yeah, and then there's a evil slaver guy who looks like part of the God Hand from Berserk, but predates Berserk, so good on them.
But yeah, no, so they do this whole casino heist where Birdman, or Jack, or whatever his card was, he drops some footballs down the chimney.
Yeah, and the assassin lady, who we didn't really talk about, but she starts making people explode like fireworks, and
Cobra got put in the jail cell, and then he got put into the arena, so he has to fight a fat Lizalfos, and then he has to fight King, and he's like, "Yo, dude, we're gonna break you out," and he's just like, "Okay, I believe you."
And then they clash their auras and have a Dragon Ball fight, because I'm pretty sure this arc must have come out around the same time as, like, when we hit the Z portion of Dragon Ball. It's fucking stupid. And so...
They escape by jumping into the piss water.
Yeah.
There's a giant robot tentacle lady with, like, dudes in her boobs. That's where the cockpits are.
That was so stupid.
It comes out of nowhere and it's gone immediately. It didn't matter.
Yeah, and then they get to where they're trying to open a floodgate, and they're about to sacrifice the virgin fairy. And so they hop down and they cause a bunch of destruction, and they get to the floodgate, and it turns out it's opened by blood, human blood. And so Birdman and Cobra start arguing with each other, and they get ready to kill each other, and then Cobra shoots the gun, and it kills the one living human evil person in the entire thing. Convenient.
Yeah, the one human not part of the hive mind.
Yeah.
He was just there because he thought it was cool.
Yeah, he's like, "You guys are fucking sick." And it coughs up blood, and it goes down the tube, and it opens up, and there's a giant electric dragon that's holding the king, and it drops the king, and then they, like, collapse the ceiling on it.
And then they bail!
Yeah, Blue Eyes White Dragon can't handle it, and so they're taking the submarine, and they They get assaulted by beast machines, and
the partisan frogs show up.
Yeah! I forgot about the partisan frogs. We didn't even talk about that.
They find some frogs in the forest, and the elf fairy talks to them.
It's fucking stupid.
And these aren't just regular frogs. These are like human-sized frogs with fucking...
They have tank cannons on them.
Yeah, they're just mounted guns.
And they have numbers on the sides of them.
Yeah,
like, it's idiotic.
They blow up all the beast mechas.
Supposedly. They get into a laser fight. We don't see the result of it. But they get to the castle, and...
they find the gold.
Well, not quite. Blue Eyes White Dragon shows up, and
finds the Cobra.
And King thinks that Cobra is the one that shot him or some shit, or led the attack by the Chaos Army, and Fairy Lady's like, no, he saved you, which already happened, but whatever, and so Assassin Lady shoots the chandelier he was holding on because he was getting nibbled on by Blue Eyes White Dragon. And they both fall, and turns out he falls into the mothership. And
that's the one thing that the hive mind needs to stay alive. So he sticks a cigar in it.
Hell yeah. He's got cigars that explode. We didn't talk about that.
It's fine.
Yeah. So they get to the gold, and they're all excited. But it turns out that Assassin Lady was an evil.
She was also part of the hive mind, but she had individuality, so she got assimilated.
And nobody does anything about it.
Cobra just fucking stares at it like, duh.
Well, he's like horrified, and it's like, dude, you could have just shot the fucking thing.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter because he's got the fucking cigar in there, and it blows up right before the dragon can do anything of value.
Yeah, he defeats it, and is like, why are you here? And it's like, I'm here for the treasure. I'm gonna take this ruby. And then he walks off, and he gives the ruby to the half-dead machines.
We didn't talk about them either. There's a couple who is a singular machine. They have two monitors for each of their faces.
And they fight with each other constantly. It's a good time.
And one of them gets... The dude gets shot up, and the lady does not. Somehow, I guess.
It's whatever. And he gives her the ruby, and
he's like, get a real body.
Yeah,
bye.
You go do that. And then the king starts remembering, because he sees the picture of
Cobra before he changed his face to look like a doof.
Yeah, and how they had him ready to get us killed, and he's like, well, we're gonna need... It's gonna be a bad time because the Chaos Army's gonna do the thing. For some reason, the king fucking knows that.
He's the king.
And he lets him go, and
Cobra's like, I'll repay the favor. 20 years later, he repaid the favor. And then he stole his fucking rocket.
Yep. Takes a rocket, which is part of the castle, because the show is fucking stupid. And joins back up with Lady and is like, I just had to return something.
It took me 20 years, but you know what? Fuck it.
Yep.
I'm Cobra.
Yep.
Check out my ass.
Yep.
Alright, let's throw numbers at this so we can leave.
God, yes. Plot. I'll be honest. Plot's not that bad.
It was fine.
Every minus the couple of really stupid parts, plots were average. I'd hit it with a 3.
Alright.
Characters.
Oh, they all fucking sucked.
You know what? Yes.
I can't think of a single good character in this show.
Everyone was hollow, pointless, and either built to die or... Cobra, the Deus Ex Machina.
The man who's the smartest man in the room all the time.
For no reason. Even though he's shown to be a complete idiot.
That's an act.
Whatever. It's fucking stupid.
Okay.
I gave it a 0.
That's fine.
Animation. It's fine.
It was fine. Hit it with a 2.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Genre strength.
I mean, if you're into, I don't even know.
If you like Cowboy Bebop and you want something immediately way worse, Find something else.
But if you want to have a good laugh, find something else.
Because there's tons of parts of the show where I'm just sitting there and, like, I don't even have anything to say. Other than, wow, that's stupid. And then we both have to, one of either one of us has to comment, welcome to Cobra.
That did happen a lot.
Honestly, I'm thinking a 2 or a 1.
Give it a 2.
Okay.
Let's get this up high.
We'll be nice. Alright, dub.
There was not a dub.
We didn't have a dub. Special mention.
I mean, you already said what it was to me earlier.
Yeah, but shit. I literally forgot the thing that happened after that. Well, it was the jet piranhas, but that wasn't funny enough.
Oh, no, it wasn't the jet piranhas.
No, I know, but I was just remembering, like, then there was more stupid shit.
Oh.
But, yeah, I basically fell over myself laughing when, I'm gonna call it car revenge.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Because that might have been the absolute dumbest thing ever.
My sister died in a car crash. I vow revenge against all cars.
All cars must die. And then I got into the super fast bike and destroyed all cars.
Forever.
All of you must burn. And that with 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, we did have to stop. We literally had to pause it for you.
I lost my fucking mind. You know what's sad?
This got a relatively decent score.
Actually, no. Hang on.
I think it got, what, a 9?
Got a 9. That... Hang on. It's not the lowest.
No, because the lowest is fucking 0.
Did we give something a 0?
Yeah, X-Arm got negative points for its fucking intro.
Oh, shit. Hang on. Let's go back. I need to see it. Because I need to know.
And I'm pretty sure Osamaka got like a 2.
Yeah, there were a couple 2s in there. Yeah, X-Arm got a 0. Because we had to give it 1 for a plot, because I guess it existed. Even though we weren't paying attention to it. And, yeah, and then the intro was hot garbage, so we gave it a 0. We could have gone negative. I think it would have been worth it. But it's too late for that. So
it's never too late. We kept giving Biollante more points.
Yeah, but that was more fresh in my mind. I don't have anything fresh in my mind about fucking X-Arm. Other than, I guess, the intro.
Well, are we done here?
I'd say we're done.
Alright, we'll see you guys later.
See ya.